Hi, my name's Xtine, and decadent salads are kind of my thing. They're coming to get me. I also, recently, in the last year or so, found out that I'm allergic to spinach, which was deeply upsetting. So in the wake of that devastating news, I've pivoted to be a kale salad girly, and I've gotten really good at massaging kale. So when I came across the New York Times recipe for kale salad with apples and cheddar, I knew I had to put my own little spin on it. It has good reviews, and I'm sure it's a delicious salad as is, but this is how I would make it. And in my opinion, this is a better way to make it.
Let's begin by prepping our kale, which for me means ripping off the leaves and discarding the stems. You could eat the stems if you're a masochist and you enjoy suffering, but I want my salad to be a pleasurable experience. I'm putting all my leaves in a salad spinner so they're ready to wash. I've already given this bunch one quick rinse, but I'm going to wash it again after this. I'm also checking each piece for little bugs or clumps of dirt that might be hanging out on there, and I did find this creepy guy who needed to be removed immediately. The New York Times says to very finely chop your kale after removing it from the stem, but that feels like an extra and unnecessary step to me, so I'm just ripping it into manageable, bite-sized pieces as I go. I'm going to put these stems in the compost. I'm going to dump my washed and carefully inspected kale into a large bowl and squirt some lemon juice on there, probably half a tablespoon. Then salt, a few good cranks, and olive oil, about a tablespoon. Using my hands, I'm going to massage the lemon juice and salt and oil into the kale until it gets nice and soft. It will dramatically reduce in size and become much less threatening. Now I'm grabbing 2 apples. The New York Times only calls for 1, but this salad is allegedly supposed to be 4 to 6 servings, so that math seems a little off to me. 1 just didn't feel like enough for a salad with apple in the title. Anyway, I'm dicing and adding it to the salad. Next, I've got this brick of Vermont cheddar, and I'm going to shred it. The Times says to cut it into a 1/4 inch dice, but I'd like a very even distribution of cheese throughout the salad, and shredding feels like the way to achieve that.
If this looks like a lot of cheese to you right now, don't be scared. Just try to remember that there's a ton of kale at the bottom of the bowl and a bunch of apples, and we're gonna give it a good toss before serving, and then, I promise, it'll look like a more reasonable amount of cheese. Or it won't, and it'll just be a cheesy salad. But would that be the worst thing?
Now almonds. I love almonds in a salad. I love a little salty crunch. The Times calls for 2 tablespoons of toasted almonds, and these are salted and roasted, so that seems close enough. I did not measure the amount at all.
Okay, it's time to make the dressing. And again, we're going to take some liberties here because we already massaged the kale in so much olive oil and lemon juice.
So for the dressing, I'm starting with 1 thick garlic clove instead of a very small one like the Times suggested. Next, I'm adding the juice from 1/2 of a lemon. The recipe called for 2 tablespoons. This is probably more like 1. And then finally, roughly a tablespoon of olive oil instead of the 5 that the recipe called for. Whisk until it becomes a nice consistency and dump it on the salad. And then mix it all up. Look at that. Looks like a yummy salad. Less trashy than I would usually go for, but still good. And finally, sprinkle fresh shredded parm on top.
It smells amazing. The garlic in the dressing is a nice touch. Well balanced and delicious.
FYI, I'm posting this video on election night and I am stressed.
Gotta try to get a little bit of everything in each bite, I'm going to devour this.